while The Walking Dead wasn't the first Telltale game on the market, some would say that's where they really got their start. With the release of The Walking Dead, Telltale got into a groove, they understood how to tell an effective story, create these really well-rounded, compelling characters, and put you in charge of some impossible choices. Now, Done Running doesn't really hit the same beats as the opening episodes in other seasons, but it does set up a very dark and bleak future, which is sure to bring the series to a very chaotic conclusion. Set a few years after the events of A New Frontier, Clementine is once again front and center of a Walking Dead game, no longer sharing lead duties with Harvey and his family, and within the first 5 minutes, it's clear that that's just for the best. Watching Clem grow through each season has been an emotional roller coaster, but she is fully in the role of mother to AJ now, which feels like an appropriate note to both begin and end her final journey. Much like Lee was a father figure to her, now she tries to set a good example for AJ. This season feels like it's going to be about Clem, what she's learned in this horror-filled wasteland, but also what we have learned as well as a player. Will the player repeat some of the mistakes they might have made with Lee? Will they do better this time around? Perhaps they'll just be worse. Throughout Done Running, AJ is always closely watching Clementine, learning her behavior, coming to terms with this twisted universe, deciding how he is going to leave his own mark. It's why this episode does take a long time to get going, because for about 80% of it you'll wonder where it's all leading. It's very dialogue heavy and is not entirely decision filled. In fact, as first episodes go, you'll feel like you haven't really made a tough call in its entire 3-hour duration. But as soon as the credits roll, it becomes all too clear that shit is well and truly going to hit the fan, and you'll soon understand that the build-up was all worth it. It seems fitting then that Telltale Games are debuting brand new ways to play with the final season, as well as an all-new engine that provides additional acting possibilities for their cast of characters. It gives the episodes even more dramatic tension with its action-filled sequences. In its 4th and final season then, The Walking Dead actually feels closer to a survival horror Life is Strange than it does the quick time event comic book from 2012. For starters, the right stick now offers a fully controllable camera, which lets you turn to face Clem, but also pan around the desolate, hand-drawn, beautiful landscape in full. This makes movement feel even more free and flexible. You can also choose to engage in unscripted attacks with walkers now by stunning them with a kick to the leg before stabbing them through the noggin. Fight sequences aren't always forced on the player, but you can try out other strategies like directing them into traps which impale them or crush them underneath boulders. There's even a slew of collectibles to find in each episode, later used to decorate your room. You'll find everything from deer horns to hand-drawn pictures, so it really is quite a selection. But what's even more clear about The Walking Dead the final season is you can now see how your words and choices affect a character. They might cringe at a joke or show some genuine remorse for something they've done wrong. Your companions and enemies don't just feel like robots anymore. And that's never more clear than with AJ and the relationship that's being built up with Clem. Everything you do shapes the man that he will become. The things you tell him, whether you choose to reprimand him, if you show compassion or callousness. But while it works well, the writing really is the star of the show here. At once you see a beauty in this fractured, bloodthirsty world through the eyes of a child, but also the clear desperation for survival forever looming in the background, desperate to take over. The mechanics also manage to capture that, mostly perfectly. So Done Running really sets the scene for a season none of us are really ready to finish. We have, in inverted commas, raised this scared young girl into a strong, independent mother through one impossible decision after another. And while episode 1 never truly puts us on the spot until the very bitter end, there's an impending sense of dread that worse moments will inevitably follow. But they will almost certainly lead to some of the series' finest events. So to summarize on the pro side, the new engine and mechanics suit The Walking Dead perfectly and work really well. They've been implemented very nicely. The new cast of characters are also written really well and feed into an engaging story. The setup for the rest of the season is an excellent cliffhanger, provides a brilliant opening for episode 2. On the cons though, it is very slow to start, and you will wonder throughout the first 80% where the episode is actually going. There are no tough decisions then till the very bitter end, which means that you're never really struggling to decide what to do, and it kind of makes it feel like it's just clicking through the actions. And on the technical side, we did experience some brief scene lag when transitioning after key moments, but we've chosen to give The Walking Dead the final season episode 1 done running a 7.5 out of 10, and we tested this on a PC. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like to help support the channel. It really does help us grow and we really appreciate it. If you've played the first episode of the new season of The Walking Dead, let us know what you think in the comment section below and where you think it might actually lead. But do of course be careful of spoilers for people who haven't played it yet. We're of course going to be reviewing the rest of the season, so we've got all that pre-purchased and we're going to be adding videos as they release. So look forward to those and we will see you next time.